Welcome to Stoked, the podcast that helps adventure elopement photographers hit six figures and beyond in their businesses without hustling on social media. I'm your host, Megan McPhail, a former burnt-out emergency veterinarian that quit my hard-earned career to become an elopement photographer. Now I'm living a life I absolutely love, full of travel, adventure, and financial abundance, and I am hell-bent on helping you do the same. Are you ready to start booking out your calendar with dream couples in breathtaking locations and feeling genuinely stoked about your elopement photography business, life, and bank account? Then let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, it's your host, Megan McPhail.
And your co-host, Todd Reedy.
And you hear me talk a lot about how I want your website to sell your services. So this episode is about the top 7 mistakes we see elopement photographers make with their websites that I want you to change immediately if you are one of these people so that you can start selling your services and booking out 2025 as an elopement photographer.
And the good news is it's not a $10,000 rebrand. You don't need a new logo or a new slogan. These are 7 relatively simple things to check and correct if you need to.
Yes, exactly. So mistake number 1 is that you're talking to way too many people on your website. You don't really have a clear ideal client that you're trying to work with and communicate with and sell to on your website. So a lot of times we go to websites for elopement photographers and we see weddings, we see boudoir, we see maternity photos, we see equine photography. And that's not what eloping couples want to see. That's confusing. And I'm sure you're confused too if you're trying to cater to everybody under the sun instead of niching down. That's going to be a big problem. So eloping couples who want to invest in their experience want to see somebody who is focused on elopement photography and isn't doing everything under the sun. So that's mistake number 1, is really just being too broad in who you're trying to target or not really knowing who your ideal client is and who you want to sell your services to. Number 2 is having a lot of photos, which is great. I want you to have a lot of photos, but they can't replace good website copy that's also communicating your value and explaining the experience of hiring you as an elopement photographer. So couples want to see your photos, right? But if you have too many photos and not enough copy communicating your value and explaining what people will get when they hire you, they're going to pass you up because they don't just want photos. They also want to understand how this all works. Most eloping couples are really in the dark and have a lot of questions when it comes to eloping. So if you just have your photos and a little blurb about how elopements are great and how you love being an elopement photographer and you're passionate about it, and then you have your prices, you're not communicating your value, you're not answering the questions that eloping couples have, and you're not helping them understand the experience of working with you.
Yeah, and this is maybe a little bit unintuitive if you're coming from like the wedding photography space, because in that world, often being the photographer of a wedding, like you are a vendor, right? That is providing photos. You're not making the timeline. You're relying on the planner to do that. But in elopements, you guys all know there's a lot more to the planning, orchestrating everything, the permits, locations, getting from here to there, all the different things that go into making your experience and what you're selling as a product. And so they, being the clients, haven't most likely eloped before, so they don't know what that all entails. They've been to probably 1 million weddings, and so they know the order of operations at a typical wedding, but elopements are so specific and so unique, you need to show them what that day could look like.
Exactly. And I think that's why a lot of people struggle when they are trying to make the pivot from weddings to elopements, because as a wedding photographer, you can just have a pretty website with your photos on it and your pricing and get booked. With elopements, that's just not the case. You really have to go the extra mile to educate your couples when they land on your website. So when we see people with just photos and just prices, that's not doing enough. So mistake number 3 is not having clear locations on your website. So you want to make it extremely clear which locations you serve. Another thing I've seen all the time when people come to me for coaching, I go to their website and they have beautiful photos and some explanation of the experience, but all they say is that they're a destination elopement photographer that will travel anywhere. So eloping couples, they don't want to hire just somebody who travels anywhere. That is missing the mark. And I think that's the ultimate goal for a lot of people, is to be somebody who travels all over for elopements. But there's a strategy involved in that. You cannot just put that on your website right away and just start booking things in random locations. You have to target specific locations first. And if you aren't clear with what locations you serve and are targeting, people are going to go right past you and book somebody who is an expert in the location where the couple wants to get married. So a couple that wants to elope in Yosemite wants a Yosemite elopement photographer, not somebody with an airplane in their Instagram bio saying they'll travel anywhere. Somebody who wants to get married on Hawaii wants a Hawaii elopement photographer. Somebody who wants to get married in the mountains of Colorado wants a Colorado elopement photographer, at least the people who are, willing to invest a lot of money. So if you don't have clear locations on your website, you're not going to attract anybody, essentially.
Yeah. And along with that, you've probably heard Megan talk about it before, how we have our bread and butter places. Like we have Zion, we have Moab, and we have Colorado. Those are like our core places. That's where we're going to bet our income and where we're expecting to work. If we are fortunate to get an inquiry and land a job in Hawaii or Iceland or one of these more extravagant locations, yeah, we'll be ready for it and we'll provide an amazing experience. But we're not like banking our mortgage for that month on hoping for a Hawaii elopement.
Yeah, we target specific locations strategically. And yes, we do get bookings for places outside of those locations. And that's amazing. We've been able to work all over the place because of that. But yeah, don't bank your income. Or like Todd said, we're not going to bet our mortgage on randomly booking places. We have a strategy and we're very deliberate on the locations that we put on our website so that we can make that income. Hey photographer, do you dream of having a successful elopement photography business but don't know where to start? Imagine having the confidence to double or triple your prices, booking your calendar solid with dream couples and breathtaking locations, and feeling genuinely stoked about your business, your life, and your bank account? Then I'd like to introduce you to STOKED Academy, the go-to membership community for adventure elopement photographers that are ready to scale their businesses to 6 figures and beyond, all without hustling on social media. In STOKED Academy, you'll get access to everything you need to build a 6-figure business, like mastering marketing strategies, pricing for profit, elopement planning, worksheets, templates, spreadsheets, and so much more. Plus, you'll connect with a positive, supportive community of elopement photographers who are as passionate as you are. And the best part? It's insanely affordable, like less than the cost of a new memory card for your camera. Plus, as a member, you'll get to join me for a monthly group coaching call where we dive deep into strategies that will take your business to the next level. If this sounds awesome, then head over to stokedacademy.com to learn more about the membership and join us. I can't wait to see you in there. Mistake number 4 is having no social proof or testimonials on your website. Social proof is huge. It's one of the main reasons why people book people or invest money in something. It's because of the social proof. Other people are doing it. Other people have had a good experience. You're not just relying on the photographer to tell you the experience. You actually have testimonials and reviews from couples who can say like, oh my God, this is the best day ever. And so is the best photographer ever. You want to have those sprinkled all throughout your website. You don't want them on a separate page. You don't want them just on the Knot or Wedding Wire. You want them on your website, and like on every single page of your website, there should be multiple testimonials because the social proof is huge. Another form of social proof I love is like selfies with your couples on their elopement days. So a combination of that plus reviews is huge.
Yeah, my 2 cents here is like I'm an overanalyzer to a T, and I over research every purchase. Anything on Amazon, I'm reading a bunch of reviews. I'm looking at multiple things. So put yourself in your client's shoes of like they're wanting to spend multiples of thousands of dollars on this elopement experience, like a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah, they're going to vet you and they want to know that other people had a good time, that you were on top of permits, on top of the weather, basically having an awesome plan and like can have evidence that you've executed that before.
Yeah, reviews are huge. I wouldn't buy anything without looking at all the reviews. I mean, even a $5 item on Amazon, I'm like scrolling through review after review after review. So definitely put those on there if you haven't already. Put on some clearer locations if you haven't already. Add in some messaging about the experience working with you. Narrow down your ideal client. And then mistake number 5 is not showcasing your personality. Your personality is a huge part of your brand. And the reason why people are going to book you as an elopement photographer, they want to know that they can spend a whole day with you and have fun with you and have it not be like awkward and weird, or have it be awkward and weird in a good way. I mean, Todd and I are kind of awkward and weird, but we attract those kind of people that enjoy that, you know? So showcase your personality on your website. And sometimes people really struggle with this, and just do your best and make it a point to like continuously update your website with like some little tidbits about you. Put anything on there that somebody can connect with. Your favorite drink, food, place to visit, favorite TV show or comfort TV show that you watch all the time. Because if somebody hates The Office and you quote The Office all the time, like that's important information to know. So showcase your personality on your website. People are booking you for your personality.
And this one was definitely hard for me. And I think, Megan, you said it was for you when you first transitioned from being a vet. We were kind of accustomed to becoming like corporate robots and like very, strict and very formal and professional. But in this space, you want to have a connection with your person, right?
Sometimes you're the only person that a couple is booking. You're their only vendor, and you're spending the whole day with them, and you're planning everything. I mean, that's a lot. And it's not just like, on a wedding day where you're preoccupied with 8 million things and your photographer is there, sure, but like it's just kind of like a client vendor relationship. Like elopement photographers and their couples, like they form genuine friendships. So if you're not showcasing your personality, you're going to be booking people that you don't necessarily connect with. And I want every one of your couples to be someone that like you could genuinely be friends with, because that's what makes our job so awesome. Okay, mistake number 6 is a poor user experience. And I see this a lot where websites are slow to load, or the navigation menu is really confusing, or you don't really know where to go next, or there's too many pages and there's like an experience page and an investment page, and there's like a wedding and an elopement page, and then like there's just too many pages, or it's like overly designed where it's like confusing and I don't know where to go, or I don't know what to do. My original website for Hazel and Lace was so simple and converted really, really well. You don't have to have super fancy designed websites to convert people. In fact, if it's quick to load and, has beautiful photos, clear locations, social proof, your personality on there, communicates your value, and it's easy to navigate, that will do so much more for you than like adding all types of extra stuff on there. So I want it to load fast. I want it to be super easy to navigate. I want your pricing page to be called pricing. And your contact page just to be like contact, like just make it as obvious and easy as possible. Don't overcomplicate it.
And think of any website that you go to. You may not remember all of like the amazing ones, but you definitely remember the shitty ones. Mm-hmm. So like the shitty ones, you're not going to go back to. So like make it an experience that someone like won't hate. Mm-hmm. And don't forget to check all of your pages on mobile. People are using their phone, obviously. You're probably listening to this on your phone. So like make sure all of your pages look correct on a computer and on your phone, please.
Yeah. And make sure all your links work. Recently, I had a coaching student whose submit button for her contact form somehow had like an image over it, so you couldn't actually click it. And it's like, well, no wonder you're not getting inquiries. Like, you can't submit this button. Like, so have a third party, like have somebody else go through your website and report back with any issues. In the Elopement Photographer Mastermind, we have our copy coach do full line-by-line audits on all of our students' websites and stuff so she can report back as far as the copy goes and the design and user experience goes, because that's all super, super important. And then the number 7 mistake is having no clear calls to action. So other than your like navigation menu at the top of your page, you also want it to be very clear what the next steps are for your couples to take. And normally that's either to go to your pricing page or to go to your contact page. So for us, our pricing page really acts as a sales page where like almost all the information you could possibly have is on the pricing page before you get to the pricing. So really, I want to direct people to my pricing page, but then after that, I want to direct people to contact us. So we have lots of little buttons scattered throughout our website that leads people to where they need to go and what the next step is. And a lot of people don't have that. You know, you scroll down on one of their web pages and then it's just, okay, well, now what do I do? It just ends.
Yeah, the whole website should be an experience for your client or for your potential client. So like make it as easy and as beautiful and like as streamlined as that can be.
So they know exactly what to do next.
Yeah.
The whole process of a couple finding you, going through your website, inquiring with you, booking you, planning their whole elopement, every time you should be explaining to them what the next step is. Do this, and then the next step is this. Okay, now the next step is this. Like you are guiding them through an experience. They don't know what the F they're doing. They're relying on you to be the expert and the professional and tell them what to do. So if your website is confusing and unclear and they don't know what page they're supposed to go to and they don't know how to navigate it and they don't know who you are or what people think about working with you, and there's freaking maternity photos or weddings with giant wedding parties and stuff, bridal parties, they're going to dip out and they're going to go with someone else. So these are 7 things that you can do to fix up your website. And I want you to do them now because January and February are huge booking months. They're right around the corner. 2025 is right around the corner. I think the majority of people, like 50% of engagements happen between like Christmas and Valentine's Day or something like that. So it's engagement season and booking season. So get your website dialed in. Get it dialed in. And if you need help doing this, if this is confusing, I have a step-by-step outline in Stoked Academy for how to turn your pricing page into a sales page, how to repurpose all that stuff to the rest of your website, exactly what your website should look like. So if you join Stoked Academy, we will help you do all of that stuff. So yeah, let us help you. If you need it, get prepped for 2025 booking season. Let's make 2025 your best year yet. Let's get you booking some 5K elopements. Let's freaking do this. Okay, guys? So if you want to join Stoked Academy, you can head to stokedacademy.com. And it's a month-to-month membership that you can cancel anytime. Super low stress, low pressure.
All the links are in the show notes, so just scroll down and see it.
Yeah, totally. Cool. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's episode of Stoked. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend. If you're looking for more inspiring elopement photography content, check us out on Instagram at Megan McPhail. And if you'd like to hear more about my business coaching and how I can personally help you hit 6 figures as an elopement photographer, then check out my website at www.meganmcphail.com.